Wow. Just barely went live on time. So we're off to a good start, and it's all my fault. Welcome back to the Eternal Baseball Podcast. I'm your regular co-host, Mark Weber, but jumping up from the sarcastic one-liners right to the guest host chair. It's our pal, Ragtime Rob Irizarry. How are you, Rob?
I'm fine. And I did have to throw a couple sarcastic one-liners into the comments before we got on.
Well, I didn't do, and only rightly so. Brent Rotundi is out tonight. He has a family engagement, so no problem. We got lots of depth. But it is good to be back. We took a couple weeks off over the holidays, but we're back into it. And aside from Mickey Mantle ripping up his knee, it's been a happy new year. It was kind of ironic that I didn't have to go far to find pictures of Mickey on a stretcher.
No.
Let people know. I'm trying to think what else. This week, the Seattle Mariners got tired of Omar Vizquel hitting, I think, 077. And they needed some help at shortstop. The only other guy they had was Joey Cora, who wasn't getting it done either. So J.P. Crawford, their current shortstop, his numbers are not, all world, but they're better than 077. So
yeah,
look for J.P. Crawford to get a good, healthy dose of playing time out there in Seattle as season 4 rolls on. What are we? I think we're about, what are we? Let me add it up. 53 games in, so about a third of the way through the season. And as always, we've got the week that was to go over here. So let me see if I can do this right. Let's go to this entire screen. Here we go with the audio on. Boom. And kind of slow tonight, but here we are. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know if anybody can read this, to be quite honest with you, but that's why it's color coded. So as always, pink is not good, and bright gold is the gold standard, right? So we're way out here in week 9, and looking at the teams that really were getting it done this week. We've got the Birmingham Knights, who the last couple seasons have started slow and then come on big. Maybe that's when divisional play hits, because we've had lots of fans complain about the soft underbelly of the American League, which is the American League South, with Birmingham, Texas, Tampa, and Kansas City. So,
yeah,
I mean, they are all expansion teams on some level, although Birmingham has all the legends of the Negro Leagues on one squad. So I'll dig into that, maybe in an upcoming newsletter, which teams have won their division every year as we move into this 4th season of Eternal Baseball. But Birmingham's one of them, and they had a 6-0 week, so things are going well for Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige and the boys from Birmingham. Elsewhere, the Pirates, who've been strong all year, turned in 5-1, and the Cardinals, who are the best in baseball right now at 38-15, they're 5-1, and the pitching's good, but they're just bludgeoning teams. So 4 or 5 of their top guys are all hitting, and if you think about the history of the Cardinals, that's a daunting lineup to try to get through. So
yeah.
They won the National League last year. They certainly feel like it could be their year this year. We'll see how much further it shakes out. We do want to say hi to some of the gentlemen joining us right away. Hello, Lester.
Hello, sir.
Somewhere west of us, I imagine, since you're saying good afternoon. James ODB, good to see you here. Dave McDonald was first in the string. Happy to see the O's. No Ben McDonald tonight, unfortunately, but either way, it's going to be a good game. That is our game of the week. I'm sorry. Let me get to the rough teams. The Diamondbacks, who I'm watching over for a fan who keeps sending me lineups. None of them helped this week at 1-5. Houston's 1-5, but most of the league is pretty tickled about that. The Marlins at 0-6. The A's scuffling. Their last 3 weeks have all been kind of rough. And then the Nationals are just hurting. But Tampa, who has the worst record in the league at 11-42, are 3-3 this week. So it could be the Renaissance.
You should have just put a gold thing on there just for the
right, just for them. Right, we're grading on a curve. And Tampa, you did real well this week. So We
Yeah, there's a
appreciate
lot of
that.
pink in their history. Ugh.
Yeah, and they don't lose all their guys as quick as they even do in the bigs, but you'll still see Glasnow and Snell and David Price is still a Bay Ray, but they've been around so short compared to the other franchises.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Diamondbacks. It's just hard, and the Nationals. Just hard to compete when you're only pulling from 20 years of or 27 years of baseball. But oh, hold on. I thought I had this ready. Something new wanted to pop up. So we're looking at our game of the week this week. It's Cincinnati at Baltimore. And these are the box scores from Saturday's game and today's game. Of course, tonight's game of the week is the first game off the Monday schedule. So Baltimore took both of these games. The first one 7-4, the second one 4-1. So on Saturday, it was Brooks Robinson and Chris Davis, both homering as the O's beat the Reds. Jack Powell earned the win. He's having a good year with a 2.83 ERA, and he had real good stuff. You can see the 2 pluses kind of in there. And then today, Ken Singleton hit a 2-run homer. Brian Roberts and Cedric Mullins with RBI singles to give former St. Louis Brown Carl Wildman all the support he needed for his complete game. So that's kind of how it rolled. Cincinnati has had trouble in their starting rotation. So tonight, one of their classic names, Eppa Rixey, is getting his first start of the year. But he'll go up against Jim Palmer, who's been really good for Baltimore. So it's a good game we've got from two teams. If you see where they're at, Baltimore is 6 games back here in the East. Cincinnati's 5 games back in the North. But the National League North is rough because the last place Cubs are 11 games over, right?
Yeah, every team's got a 600 winning percentage.
Yeah, that is a meat grinder of a division. Luckily, there are there's 2 wild cards in each league, so you're not cursed, but somebody's not making it out of the North, and even in a best case scenario. So, I guess going around the league,
the teams in the North haven't played each other very much yet, have they?
Yeah, no. One of the quirks of the schedule this year is there's not a lot of divisional play. So they're going to have to beat up on other people. So we'll see if it helps keep the divisions tighter than it has in seasons past. A couple things to note, the Mets have kind of been disappointing all 3 years. But here in season 4, they're over 500, only 3 games back of Philadelphia. Atlanta's leading a kind of haphazard National League South. They're 5 games over, but Houston, Arizona, and Miami, none of them look like serious challengers right now. The Dodgers are absolutely red hot. They've taken the first 2 against the Yankees in a big series this weekend and go for the sweep tomorrow. San Diego has turned it around a little bit too. They're only 4 games back. San Fran's not good this year. For the first, it's McCovey actually got sent down. It's hard to believe. And Willie Mays missed about a month early on with an injury. So I'm not going to pour dirt on him yet because I don't want to see that hand come up from the grave. But definitely a rough start for the Giants.
They were a little slow last year and then all of a sudden turned on the Jets, didn't they?
Yeah, they went nuts after the break. So maybe I'm just remembering the zombie Giants of last year that they could rear their head again. The Yankees are still leading the East, but the pitching is not as good as it's been, and the loss of Mickey Mantle is obviously going to hurt. Although Paul O'Neill, if you look over here, finally has enough at bats to qualify for the American League batting title. So there he is up there on top. If I put both leagues together, though, I believe that's still Pete Rose at 371 for Charlie Hustle, his best year, and Kevin Mitchell at 354 makes me grin because I liked Kevin Mitchell. I don't believe he ever sniffed 354, but
no, I mean not even that year he went nuts and won the MVP.
Right,
he may have sniffed it at the beginning of the season, but then leveled off to something respectable. But
he was never a big average guy, I don't think. But anyway, and then Duke Snider is still the king of everything. Leads all of eternal baseball in homers, RBI, and OPS. So.
Duke of Flatbush.
The Duke of Flatbush absolutely getting it done, and your odds-on favorite for NL MVP, at least this far. What else? Chicago and Detroit having a good fight for the AL North. And out west, Minnesota is just barely holding off the Angels right now. They've traded that lead back and forth a couple times. But tonight, we're looking at, let me get to the schedule here. And this is one of the weird quirks, is once we got past December 31st, it rolled the calendar back to January 1 of last year. So it still kind of works. It just makes my job harder when I'm putting together the daily scoreboard and the box scores where I have to change 23 to 24. And it's fine. We'll get through it. So today we are looking at games from the 15th, but not Sunday. These are Monday games. And we are looking at Cincinnati and Baltimore. So, Camden Yards, I've never been an Orioles fan, but lived in D.C. for a couple of years. So I got to take in a couple games at Camden Yards. Such a great ballpark.
Yeah.
So let's leave that alone, because the rumors that they might move the Orioles or there might need to be a new stadium. Come on now. Sometimes they just get it right, and you don't need a new stadium, right? Okay, so looking at our lineups here, we'll do both. But pitching-wise, we know it is left-hander Eppa Rixey getting the start for Cincinnati, and then over for Baltimore, it's Jim Palmer. So sticking with the O's here, we'll sort this by OPS against left-handed hitting, or against left-handed pitching, sorry. And Chris Hoiles has great numbers, but he's not active right now. And I'm betting that an 800 OPS is probably 4 out of 5 at bats, maybe. So we'll see if we get by without Chris Hoiles, especially because Gus Triandos is tremendous as another catcher. So maybe Hoiles, I could have DH, maybe. We'll see. So what do you like here as the guest? We'll put the guest and guest host and give you a lot of control here.
Oh boy,
Mr. Rob, you got lots of options here.
Yeah, let's see. Who do we want to?
Your on-base studs are Triandos, although he's probably slow. Eddie Murray. Those are your top 2 guys, really, for getting on base.
Yeah, but I think you also don't want anything clogging the base paths.
Yeah, neither one of those guys.
Eddie Murray, I mean, that's a classic 3-4 hitter.
Brian Roberts not bad at 375 for on base.
Yeah, I think Brian Roberts might be our guy.
Give him a look here at second base. Dave McDonald's pulling for Adley Rutschman, who is on the roster and active, but hitting 190 against lefties. I think we're probably going to go with Gus Triandos and his 571.
Yeah.
So, but nothing wrong with Adley Rutschman, right? I mean,
no.
But rough start against lefties and righties too. Actually, maybe Chris Hoiles needs to get his job back. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Brian, not Bip Roberts, at leading off, and looks like Murray, Triandos, Brady, Boog. These seem to be your next candidates.
I wonder. I don't know. Yeah, do you think you put Cal number 2?
I think you can.
Yeah.
Give you some good contact, and then maybe Murray third.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So you got switch hitter, Savage, and Murray, and then Gus. I mean, you can't really argue with that 571.
No, not really.
I mean, even if it's fluky, maybe he's still hot. Triandos up.
Ride the hot hand until it doesn't, Right? Sometimes you have to do that.
So that would put probably Brady Anderson in center.
Yeah.
Maybe Brooks over Boog to split up these lefties.
Yeah.
Boog goes to left or DH. We'll see. He's not a real good left fielder. So Harlan Clift, hardly anybody knows, played for the St. Louis Browns, who became the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
He's a really good third baseman. He's just playing in Brooks's city. So Clift could DH. That's a possibility. Actually, it's
tough to find a good St. Louis Brown, So
there's a few on the pitching staff, but if Clift plays, he would DH, and that would make Powell our left fielder. And then right field would probably be, looks like Ken Williams doesn't play right. Nick Markakis does, but he's not active. Cedric Mullins plays center. All right, looks like Brady Anderson could be actually our right fielder instead of our center fielder. And that would put either Ken Williams or Cedric Mullins in center. Neither one's terribly good against lefties, but it is the 9-hole. So,
yeah, let's try Cedric Mullins.
Mullins will give you a little more speed as that lineup flips around. So.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right, so there's our Baltimore Orioles tonight. Oh, we get a drop in from Tigers fan number 1 and Lions fan number 1. Good luck to your Honolulu Blue tonight, Tino.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the Orioles. They're looking pretty good out there. And we'll flip over to, Baltimore's over the limit. Didn't know that. Let's see who's here that doesn't need to be. All Oriole fans at the same time said Chris Davis.
Look, on the bright side, in this game, you're not paying him, a crazy amount of money.
We'll sit him down today, but his numbers against righties are through the roof. So he might be a pinch hit guy. Don Buford is only here to play second base. He's the backup second baseman. We kind of got to have him. Who aren't we going to play?
Do we need Merv Rettenmund? I mean,
he's inactive already. The IA is inactive,
yeah.
So I just got to get rid of somebody who's not going to play. I think maybe just for today, it's going to be Ken Singleton, because we got some extra outfielders. Doesn't mean he won't be back tomorrow, but today I don't think we need him. So flipping over here, OPS versus right-handers, because it's Jim Palmer on the mound. So here you go, Cincinnati Reds. Lots of recognizable names here.
Yes.
The one guy to take note of, Joe Morgan, having a rotten season.
Wow.
So normally you would be like, well, let's get Joe Morgan up there near the top somewhere. But he's only hitting 182 against righties. So he may be in play when we get down to the bottom just because of the glove and the wheels.
Yeah.
But he's not a top of the lineup guy right now just because he's having such a rotten year.
Yeah. Although I'm looking at the list, I mean, we may have to use him just because it's second base. I can't think of who else we'd put in there.
They used to have Brett Phillips. Oh, it's Concepcion is the backup, even though he's more standardly a shortstop.
Yeah, but Larkin, I mean, you'd be going to Larkin.
Yeah, he doesn't bump Larkin. So for on base, top guys, you're looking at Larkin at 3. Well, it's the top 4 guys, essentially. Larkin, Votto, Pete, and Frank. Frank is almost assuredly your cleanup.
Yeah.
Given who he is and the names he's having. And I know Oriole fans are furious right now because I said Chris Davis and I just put Frank Robinson in the Reds lineup. Played longer in Cincinnati. It's a really tough call. There's a few guys really hard to place in eternal baseball.
Yeah.
Carlton Fisk, Randy Johnson. There's a couple, and he's up there. So for Frank Robinson, more time in Cincinnati, he's allocated.
Yeah, that's,
but it's really very close, very close. So where do you want Larkin, Votto, Rose, and bench? Holy smokes. There's a lot of talent.
Wow, yeah. Well, bench, I think we go number 5.
Bench goes 5, all right. Rose is your best on-base guy and the leading hitter in the whole league, but there's not a ton of speed there. Larkin is probably your best speed guy of those 3.
What do you think? Do you want to go Larkin, Votto, Rose?
You could absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Because as you go righty, lefty, switch righty. I got to imagine they're going to score some runs with that. Not many people know Ed Roush or Roosh. I'm actually not sure which way it's pronounced. But he's a fantastic center fielder. And he's a lefty, so it breaks up our righties.
Yeah.
Then you've got a DH spot that you can use on either George Foster or Eric Davis. You could play Eric Davis in center and put Roush as your
left
DH.
fielder.
But is Roush play left? No, Roush.
Well, does he? It does play
Roush only plays center, and he's actually rated defensively the same as Eric Davis, which I ain't saying. he covered center field like a healthy young Eric Davis, but
Yeah,
the
they're both
numbers are the
eights.
numbers. Yeah, they're both 8s for range.
You could put well, it's looking like you could put Davis in left because it's got a decent. He's rated higher
that's
than
true.
Foster is. So
you could put Rose at third. He's in left right now.
yeah,
But you could put. Well, you could do it like this. You could do. Oops, hang on. I got aggressive. You could do Foster DH, Roush in center, Davis in left, and now you've only got second base to fill. So it's either Concepcion, whose limited numbers are a little bit better, or Joe Morgan, who's a little better defensively and gives you more speed.
Maybe it's Joe's night. Maybe this is the breakout.
I gotta imagine Reds fans want to see Joe Morgan play.
Yeah.
So I think we got 2 good lineups here. Let's fire it up.
Pitching for Baltimore, Jim Palmer.
All right, Jim
Leading
Palmer.
off for Cincinnati, shortstop, Barry Larkin.
So let me hop in here and give control of the Reds over to the computer. And then let's see what happens if I make everybody's head bigger. I think that's a little better. They were a little too tiny. Now we got big head T-shirts all over the field. No problem.
Woo-hoo!
Larkin's a good bunter, so we're not going to let that happen. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay.
First baseman,
Take it.
number 19, Joey Votto.
Also free agent Joey Votto.
That's right.
No idea. They've been rumoring him to Toronto forever.
Yeah.
I forget if he's from Toronto or if he's just
He
Canadian.
is,
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he is Canadian. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe.
And I think maybe from close to Toronto. So
From Peterborough or what's the other one? I forget. There's a lot nearby.
That's a guy like Joey Votto is not a bad addition for what's still a pretty young clubhouse.
Yeah. And I read a little bit on him today, just the idea that I guess it's 3 years ago, he had a really dynamite season, and then he was basically injured most of 2 years.
He's missed he's missed a half of each of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. So if Votto's healthy, there might be more in the tank than you think. We'll see. But this is Votto at his absolute prime.
Yeah.
Popping out Cedric
Third
Mullins.
baseman, Pete
Look at
Rose.
Pete Rose. Had to get young Pete.
The prop bet's flooding in on what Pete Rose will do.
Exactly. Pete Rose brought to you by FanDuel. But at least he plays here in Eternal Baseball.
Yeah.
Grounds out
Pitching
to
for Cincinnati, Eppa, Rixey.
I got to look that
Leading
up.
off for Baltimore, second baseman, Brian Roberts.
I have no idea if it's Eppa or Eppa.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Actually, I fired up Ken Burns' baseball documentary because I haven't watched it in, I think, 20 years. Got it for Christmas. And so I'm watching the very first, top of the first and bottom of the first inning, the first DVD.
Yeah.
And they go, one of the most inventive and borderline criminal players of the 1880s was, I forget his real name, Billy Thomas King Kelly. And I'm like, that's my guy.
I believe, yes, I've seen that story.
Said he was famous for stealing third from first base because a lot of games only had one umpire.
Yeah.
So it is a total pro wrestling move. He would wait for him to get arguing with somebody, and then he'd just take off across the grass, sometimes the mound.
There is one of the stories they tell when they talk about King Kelly is the fact that back when he played, you would announce yourself in.
That's right.
And there was a foul ball heading for the dugout, while he's sitting in the dugout. So he just goes, Kelly in for Boston, and he makes the catch.
And
Stuff the guy's out.
as they reported, it counted.
He wasn't in the game
right?
at that point. He just put himself in.
As I was watching all this stuff, because he's one of our favorites, a guy who's always sneaking into the Chicago lineup, even though he's not supposed to be there. And he pitches too. Plays all 9 positions, none of them well, but he can hit. They said they thought he wasn't getting enough sleep and was carousing too much at night. So they actually hired the Pinkerton detectives to follow him around. And they had a report that he was out till like 3 a.m. on a game day, drinking lemonade at the bar. And the owner called him in to ask if this is legit. And he said, it's absolutely untrue. It was straight whiskey. So, yeah, good for you, King Kelly.
He does have a reputation to maintain after all.
Lemonade. Come on now. All right. So we've got Brian Roberts here, who we can bunt with if we want, but they're already in. Oh, here we go. Jephthah. Okay. I'll buy it. Everybody had a nickname back then, right?
Yeah.
Now that a guy named Eppa Rixey needs something more interesting, but Jephthah.
Pronounce that one.
I can put it in the computer and see what he says, but
get our little seventh inning stretch of fun with phonics.
Yeah, there we go. I don't think we're bunting with Brian Roberts. Let's just see what he's got.
Yeah.
Oh, he bunts anyway.
There you go.
Not on purpose.
Shortstop, number 8, Cal Ripken Jr.
Not bad. I thought they might butcher it. Oh, a ricochet to short. Larkin.
First baseman, Eddie Murray.
Eddie Murray.
Ball.
I love this photo
Catcher,
of Murray.
Gus Triandos.
Right,
Yeah.
just looking cool as anything. As my cat makes his way across the desk. I forget. Eddie is famous for not getting along with reporters, but apparently baseball card photographers too. Because I very clearly remember, I think it was an upper deck card, might have been a tops card, late in his career, where the shot they chose of the dozens they had to have to pick from was Eddie having completed the swing and looking straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you really chose pop out to catcher for his card this year? Okay. I assume there's more of a story than that, but
Eddie wouldn't let us get close enough for a good headshot.
right, that was probably it, right? So we got Eddie at first. Here's Gus Triandos. Lifting one to center. Ed Rouse is under it. All right, fine. Great play.
Right fielder, Frank Robinson.
We're not afraid of Frank. Not yet.
Yeah, no, not leading off an inning.
But he gets a hold of one. Boog is under it, but he's just going to watch it go. Well, given that I'm the one that said we're not afraid of Frank.
Yep.
Don't think Oriole fans
Bench
enjoyed
Still
that
only
one bit, right?
Yeah.
Here's Johnny Bench.
Dead
Oh,
ball.
taking it in the ear.
Ooh.
Center fielder, Ed
Jim
Roush.
Palmer not happy about that Frank
No.
Robinson trot, apparently.
His undies are in a bunch.
That's it. Ed Rouse with a bunt. Bench goes to second.
Designated hitter, George
One
Foster.
down for George Foster, who's also, look at that. The mutton chops are in full effect tonight.
Yeah, they were gone by the time he got to the Mets, so this is impressive.
It's a wild pitch, and Bench takes third. Hardly recognize Bench without a mask or a helmet on.
Oh yeah,
right?
like what is this? Like 1968? He looks so young there.
Total baby, absolutely. Yeah. George Foster with a fly ball that Boog is under. Will Bench test the arm? He will. No throw.
Left fielder, Eric
2-0
Davis.
Yeah. That's young and spry Johnny Bench.
Right. Mullins is under this.
Right fielder,
All right.
Brady
As we go
Anderson.
to the bottom of the second. Look at this. Brady Anderson's got half chops. Not bad.
There you go.
Yeah.
Third
Not
baseman,
good either.
Brooks
Yeah.
Robinson.
Here's Brooks. Morgan's fantastic defensively.
Left
so
fielder,
Yeah.
Boog.
doesn't matter what
Powell.
he's hitting.
Exactly.
Here's Boog's barbecue. With a line to Frank.
Second baseman, Joe Morgan.
Joe Morgan. Leading off, decent bunter, but I don't think we're going to see it.
Yeah.
Brooks is on it. That's automatic, which is awesome. Keep hitting it to Brooks. Here's Barry Larkin. Michigan man must be enjoying his championship parade this week.
Oh, yeah. I watched the game. I saw Derek Jeter was there.
Yeah.
Who was going to play at Michigan had he not gone to the Yankees.
Yeah, and I think the coach at the time was Freehand, the former Tigers catcher.
Yes.
Who said, go pro, dude. Go pro. Good for him. Thanks.
Who drafted
Thanks,
you?
Bill.
Yeah, go there.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. And oh man, I'm gonna blank on it, but it might have been Newhouser. One of the Tigers pitchers was the scout who scouted Jeter for the Astros, who picked first that year.
Yeah.
And they took Phil Nevin, who had a good career, but Newhouser quit the team because they wouldn't draft Jeter over Nevin.
Yeah.
And apparently he knew what he was doing. So anyway, here's Joey Votto dribbling out. Eddie Murray's all over it.
Nevin was good, but he didn't have 3,500 hits.
Right. Cameron Fletcher checking in. Hello, Cam. Here's Harlan Clift, who I like a lot. His first year, the first year of Eternal Baseball, he was hitting like 355 at the break. And Oriole fans were still just could not believe that anybody but Brooks was allowed at third base in Baltimore, especially a St. Louis Brown. And I get it, O's fans, I do. He's hitting 355 though. And with first base usually busy between Boog and Eddie and Chris Davis sometimes, DH gets to be, a hot commodity in Baltimore. So regardless, Harlan Clift was a hell of a player. Look at that, right on cue.
Center fielder, number 31, Cedric Mullins.
Here's Cedric Mullins. He got a little of that, but Eric Davis is on it. Yeah. Here's Brian Roberts. With a tapper to Larkin to second. Apparently there's a takeout slide there. Happy about that.
Oh, old school.
Roberts 68% to steal. I like that in mid-70s at least usually, right? But Roto can be tempted. And he has run us out of many an inning.
That's what I'm saying. With 2 outs, I'm like,
Yeah, I think we'll let Cal hit.
Yeah.
It's just a lazy pop to left. And we're out of the inning. Here's Pete Rose.
Funny thing is, this past season in actual baseball, 2 outs, somebody might have stole. Just because the catchers are so bad at throwing people out anymore, they've had years without having to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Plus, with Yachty retired, everybody's feeling a little safer on the base paths these days.
Yeah.
Here's Frank Robinson, homered his first time up. Sends this one to center, but Mullins is under it. Johnny Bench comes up with 2 down. A little pop to left. The Boog is there. And now we get Eddie Murray to lead off. Bottom of the 4th, Reds lead 2-0.
Strike 3.
Oof, Eddie's sitting. Gus Triandos with a hopper to Rose. Yeah, we're not having a lot of activity here. Each team only has 1 hit. So the pitching's not bad, but...
No, Palmer had a little bit of a rough second inning, but...
Yeah, it hasn't been. I mean, people give up homers to Frank Robinson. It's just kind of what happens.
Yeah.
I might put that on my resume, actually, if I... Ed Rouse legs out an infield single. Yeah. Cal can't
Frank
quite
Robinson's
get him.
A man who, when he retired, was like, in the top 10 in homers, was he not?
Yeah, absolutely. And weird that a guy like Frank Robinson is actually, I think, still underrated, right? When people talk about the absolute gods of baseball, seems like Frank is left like 1 rung below where he probably should be. So give it up for Frank Robinson. We did. at 440 feet later. Ed Rouse is at first. He's a threat to steal, but right now only at 56%. So now's a good time to pitch to George Foster. He goes anyway. Oh, and he's in there. Ed Rouse making me look foolish. Oh boy. All right. So with the walk, first and second, nobody out. Bottom of the order, though, Eric Davis and Joe Morgan. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, Eric Davis sits. Joe Morgan, that's got to be foul, right? Nope. Brooks has it, throws to first. Got him, I think. Yep.
I think
Two
so.
down. So runners.
You trust Brooks.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Runners second and third for Barry Larkin. Not much point pitching around Larkin because it only gets worse after him. So Barry, with a single to center. Roush is in. If we throw home, we got an 8% chance to get George Foster, and Larkin probably advances. So is it worth it, the 8% to throw home here, or do we cut this off and keep Larkin at first?
Let's cut this off.
All right. Throw home, no. So Barry Larkin with a 2-run single. It's 4-0 Reds.
Let's try and limit the damage. So yeah.
Yeah, it never feels good, but it's probably the right call. Here's Joey Votto with a fly ball to Brady Anderson. No problem. All right, so we go to the bottom of the fifth. Brooks Robinson leading it off. Sitting down, though.
Sitting down again.
Gonna
go boil his glove.
Oh, there we go. A big old single for Boob Powell.
All right.
Frank. It looks like Frank bobbles it. Boogle takes second. Look at that. Harlan Cliff steps in with one out. Runner on second. Sits down. Here's Cedric Mullins. All right. It brings up the top of the order at least. And Brian Roberts, who's a 10 in this situation to bunt. But I don't know the bunt with 2 outs and runners on first and second accomplishes much.
And Johnny Bench behind the plate.
Yeah, that's a good point. You talked me out of it. He hits a little lazy fly to center. Ed Rouse is under it. Still the right move. As we go to what? Top of the sixth, Pete Rose. Fly to center as well. Cedric is there. Here's Frank. Sitting down. And Johnny Bench. Single left.
And the baseball bunch is happy.
Right? All of them. Especially the Wizard. Always like the Wizard.
I watched for the chicken.
Right? Oh, I love the chicken. Bench is not a threat to run, so we'll pitch to Ed Roush. Oh, I'm going to walk him.
This is not the Jim Palmer I used to see as a very young child on Channel 11 in New York.
Right? I like that we have Hall of Famer Ed Roush at first, Hall of Famer Johnny Bench at second, or on second, Hall of Famer Brooks Robinson at third, Hall of Famer Cal Ripken at short, Hall of Famer Eddie Murray at first, and Brian Roberts in the middle of all of it going, damn, I should have brought a Sharpie, right? Goodness. Here's George Foster with a dribbler to third, over to second. That's all they'll get. Oh, they only needed one. Brooks Robinson again, getting it completely taken care of at third base. Bottom of the sixth, here's Cal Ripken. Walking. Here we go. Hey, Ripken's a 15% chance to steal.
You know what? We're going to let Eddie Murray swing. That's what
I may not even let Ripken lead off, right?
Yeah.
You're good, man.
How did we get old Ripken? What happened here?
Yeah, well, holy smokes. Johnny Bench makes a lot of base runners look old, I think. Here's Eddie Murray. The fly ball to center. Looks like Ed Rouse is under it. He is. Ripken will stay at first. As Gus Triandos, who came in with big numbers, but he's 0 for 2. Look, I motivated him. Grounds a single to right field. We got runners at first and second for Brady Anderson.
There we go. Let's see if he can coax out one of those 50 homers.
Oh, right? That season is baked in there. But he still lines out to Joe Morgan and brings up Brooks Robinson. He got quite a bit of that, but no, Eric Davis is under it. Nothing going as we head to the 7th.
They must have this must have the new dimensions in Camden Yards there, where they have that section pushed back.
Yeah. I probably need to get a newer photo.
What I like to call the anti-Aaron Judge section.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. I might need a new photo here. This is such a good photo, though.
I know.
But usually the ones I get to get the parks clean, it's a pregame shot, so the stands are totally empty, and it's hard to get a good full-looking ballpark image that works. So we'll see.
Although it might be that might have been really more for Gleyber Torres, because I think as many home runs as Judge has hit against the Orioles, Gleyber has more.
Yeah. That one year where Gleyber hit like 9 or 10 against Baltimore.
He absolutely murdered them.
It was one of my favorite bits. He hit one of the last ones at Yankee Stadium, and Paul O'Neill left the Yankee broadcast booth to go invade the Baltimore booth and harass Gary Thorne about it. It's a fantastic clip.
Oh, Thorne used to just go, "Oh my God."
Yeah, he couldn't believe it. Thorne, he almost lost his mind when he hit that one, and Thorne just goes, "You got to put 4 fingers down for this guy. Otherwise, he's rounding third." And then O'Neill shows up, and he's like, "Get out of here." Great bit. All right, here's Joe Morgan. Popping out to center. Cedric Mullins is there. Barry Larkin. Got a lot of that.
Ooh.
Holy smokes. It's off the batter's eye in a colossal home run. Although sometimes the numbers don't back it up. Well, 414. That's a pretty good poke.
That's a good shot. That's out of a lot of parts.
For Barry Larkin to straightaway center. There's no doubt on that. Here's Joey
That's
Votto.
why he has a plaque.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he's not known for that, but he can rip one every once in a
Yeah,
while.
he can turn on it. You bet. Yeah. Here's Pete Rose after Votto's single to right. This one's up in the air, but Mullins is under it. Oh. Feels quick, but we've only got 3 hits, so.
Yeah. Like I said, this does seem to be the World Series that the 70s somehow missed.
Right? It's a good point. King Castro dropping by. Good to see you.
Yeah.
And finally, somebody giving some insight here. If you actually check up at the very top, just to the right of the Oriole bird, the wind is blowing out to left at 15 miles an hour. So maybe that helped Barry Larkin's moonshot there to center. Here's Boog Powell. Lifting one, but Frank is not concerned. Harlan Clift. Walking. Not bad. And Cedric Mullins. Is it too early to pinch hit for the 9-hole guy in the bottom of the 7th? He might not even come up again.
Yeah, who we put in center?
Let's just see what our options are here. We would slide Brady over to center. And then, oh, geez. I don't know who plays right. It would be right. Isn't Brady's in right?
Okay.
Because we had a lack of right fielders somehow. Don Buford plays left, but not right. I always thought that was weird, but fine. Yeah, we may have to
live with this.
Chris Davis is rated as 1 in right field. But I can only imagine the Oriole fans if we put him out there, right?
I think I'd rather live with Cedric Mullins.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I may have made the wrong guy inactive at the beginning of the game, but whatever.
Yeah, Ken Singleton.
Let's go, Cedric Mullins.
Former Yankee broadcaster.
Really good, too. I always like Singleton. Brian Roberts. 0 for 3. A dribbler to Rixey. And that's it. That's all the promise of our leadoff single. As we go to the top of the 8th, here's Frank again. Walking. And Johnny Bench. Oh, boy.
Take your base.
I don't think Palmer's getting tired. He's got 37 pitches left in that arm. I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to check out the bullpen. There's some cool names out here. Anybody you might want to see warming up out there, just in case this inning goes completely sideways? Kind of like Zach Britton, that bowling ball sinker for a lefty. Over on the right-hand side, it looks like Darren O'Day or Eddie Watt or Stu Miller, because Felix Bautista's the closer. Anybody you like out of that batch? You know, see Darren O'Day throw it from third base, pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's probably O'Day and Britton.
All right, we'll get them warming just in case. God knows not much has gone our way today, so
no,
better be prepared. So with nobody out and 2 on,
go to the bullpen and just finish this one off.
Right?
it's like punting.
I'm going to bring the corners in a little bit here because Ed Rouse is a good bunter and there's nobody down. No, he got a lot of that. Brady Anderson's under it, though. But Frank will take third. And now here's George Foster with 1 down. Jim Palmer up. Let's see. He murders lefties, but he's weaker against righties, so Palmer's probably good for at least one more. All right. And Eric Davis murders lefties as well. So with 2 down, probably Palmer's last batter. Either way.
Yeah.
Cedric Mullins with a great play. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Eppa Rixey rolling along. He's got 30 pitches left, still twirling this 3-hit shutout. Here's Cal Ripken Jr. With a shot to left. Well, not a shot, but a single.
It's something.
Right? It's a start. Hey, it's one of the 4 best hits all day for Baltimore. Here's Eddie Murray. Yeah. Eddie grounds to Larkin, who steps on second, throws to first.
Eddie immediately glowers at the camera.
Right. He's mad at he blames the upper deck photographer.
I heard a shutter click.
Down with O'Day. Yeah, we do have bullpen. I think that's the game, though. Seems to be a little biased against the relievers. So Eppa's going to pitch to Gus with suddenly nobody on. You got some of that, but it's like Eric Davis has got it. So Palmer's thrown 117 of 140 pitches. Got Joe Morgan up, who hits righties better than lefties. And Larkin and Votto. You feeling like giving one of these relievers a chance to set the whole building on fire?
So like I said, I don't know if we're getting 5, so let's just burn the whole thing down.
All right. So here's Zach Britton.
Pitching for Baltimore.
Oh, look at the face.
Number 53, Zach Britton.
It's like he knows what's about to happen.
Yeah. This game's programming has the soul of 1950s baseball writer. Hates bullpens.
Pretty much. Yeah, and he walks him to lead off the inning. And it's Joe friggin' Morgan, too, so you know he's going to steal. Yeah. We'll try to keep him close. There we go, 64%. I'm good with that. Larkin lifts one to center, but nothing like his shot.
Yeah.
Mullins has it. 1 down. Still keeping an eye on Joe Morgan over here at 89% to steal. We'll try a little pitch out here. See if I can lure him in. No, he wants no part of that. Now he's at 96. Holy shit.
Good Lord.
I'm going to wear Britton out and just throw it over. All right, fine. He spit on 2 pitch outs, so.
Ball 4.
What do we got here? Rose is better against lefties, and O'Day's only got 15 pitches left because he's still warming up. Do we want to pivot here with switch right coming up?
Yeah.
Bring in O'Day. Probably start warming up. We'll go with Miller. Maybe BJ Ryan. All hands on deck. Oh. Fine.
Pitching for Baltimore, number 56, Darren O'Day.
He's definitely got his war face going.
Yes.
So 0 for 4, Pete Rose leading both leagues in hitting. With a little fly, Boog Powell's under it. He's got it. 2 down, 4. Oh, Frank. Oh, I can get Miller in there. If I visit the mound, Miller will be ready. Do you want Miller or do you want O'Day? O'Day's only thrown 4 pitches, but he's only got 15 in his arm. Notice how I'm having you make the bullpen decisions because I know they're probably going to go wrong.
You know what? We might as well stick with O'Day.
All right. Cameron Fletcher makes a good point that I can get BJ Ryan warming up now. Not that it's going to matter, but lefty righty gives us flexibility. All right. Hold your nose. I don't think you got all of that. Frank with a fly to right. Brady Anderson's under it. What do you know? We go to the bottom of the 9th. Eppa Rixey trying to hold on. It'll be Anderson, Robinson, and Powell, unless there's anybody here that makes us want to change that. I don't think so. Nobody gives us a better shot.
Yeah.
Let's go, Brady. Oh, Brady's a really good bunter. You want to freak him out? Or is Johnny Bench too scary to bunt in front of?
What do we got to lose?
Yeah, I got a good point. Sit those arms. Yeah, he's probably got a point. Hold on.
Watch, we tie the game up.
Right? I'd like it. Well, if we're headed that way, we'll warm somebody up. But
yeah.
All right, Brady, drop this bunt. Let's see it. Run! Look at that. We need a new offensive coordinator.
There we go.
Safe at first. Here comes Brooks Robinson. Eppa Rixey's got to be close to getting tired. It looks like a fly out. Robinson's got it. Yeah. Anderson gets back. 1 down for Boog Powell. Yeah, Rixey's got 17 pitches left, but he wants this shutout. He's got a 5-run lead. So, Boog to first. Looks like he's safe, though, instead of the double play. So Harlan Cliff might be the last gasp.
Last hope.
Come on, Harlan. A tap the Votto. And mercifully, it's over.
The final score from Camden Yards, Cincinnati 5, Baltimore 0. Eppa Rixey is the winner.
Eppa.
He is now 1-0 on the season. Jim Palmer is the loser. He is now 4-2. Frank Robinson hit home run number 4 on the season. Barry Larkin hit number 6. Time of the game, 2 hours, 51 minutes.
I'm going to have to check that. Frank having his 4th homer of the year, 53 games in. I don't believe he was hurt, so he may be getting lost in the shuffle a little bit out there.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at that for you Cincinnati fans. Feels like Frank should get more playing time than that. But the good news for Cincinnati, who has been hitting, but their pitching has been a little suspect in places. Rixey with a complete game 5-hit shutout in his first start of the year against a pretty good Baltimore team. So maybe that'll help you guys in that meat grinder that is the National League North. The O's drop the game but win the series as they try to get back into it in the East. Remember, with the wild cards, they're still definitely in play for a postseason shot. James tells us thanks. Thanks for stopping by, James. It's a bummer we've had two kind of stinkers, in a row, but that's baseball, Susan.
Yeah.
So Baltimore doesn't give us much to work with today as they drop a nail biter to Cincinnati 5-0. If you like,
machine, man.
Yeah. Sometimes you're the windshield, and sometimes you're the bug. But I would say if you like what you saw here, maybe check out some different episodes of the podcast. This is number 88, so your team, I'm sure, played at some point in the past. They're always good to review if you haven't seen your team. We do try to get every team on the game of the week by the end of the season. These two teams are both making their season 4 debut. We'll try to have 2 new teams next week. If you like internal baseball, we call it the best baseball ever, and this the best hour of baseball you'll see all week, which is obviously true in January. But check us out. We're at www.eternalbaseball.com or on Facebook or Twitter/X. Just look for Eternal Baseball. We have games every day except Friday. That's the day our Eternal Baseball newsletter goes out, which is totally free. You can sign up for that at the homepage. And we post box scores just like this on our homepage on the team-specific message board. So if you're only interested in following one team, you can just check out those message boards every day, and you'll see I try to get the box scores uploaded first thing in the morning. And we're rolling along here. About a third of the way through, we'll have an all-star game coming up. We specifically plan the season to try to start right after MLB's World Series to get you through this long, cold winter when all you've got to keep yourself warm is Cody Bellinger rumors. So
certainly not anything outside right now.
Right. So we'll get you through this and we'll wrap up. We'll have our all-star game while MLB has spring training. We'll have our Eternal Series before their all-star game, and then we get out of the way for the stretch run of Major League Baseball. So we're here to help. We hope you've enjoyed it. We appreciate everybody joining on. If you can, give us a like, give us a subscribe. That stuff always helps. Our thanks to Ragtime Rob Irizarry for joining us. He was just as sarcastic as I expected. And if you want to see even more of the kooky hijinks, right? The scouting report was dead on, I'll be honest. You can see Rob and I on the What's on Joe Mind podcast on Tuesday nights with his little brother, Mike Irizarry, breaking down the world of G.I. Joe. If you just can't get enough, we'll be back in a couple of days. So
yeah.
For Brent, who's off on assignment tonight, and for Ragtime Rob, who did a bang-up job filling in, we appreciate you joining us, and we will see you in 7 days for another thrilling edition of the Eternal Baseball Podcast.
Stay tuned for the post-game wrap-up.
Love it. Good night, everybody.